Are you about to watch this video and you're not liked and subscribed to it? Like the video, please. Just go down. It's right there. It's right there.
I did. I hit it. Have you hit it?
Welcome back to Starting Nine.
Let's go.
Episode 266. We already did our Field of Dreams podcast when we were there in Dyersville, Iowa. But right now it's 8:40ish on the East Coast, top of the fourth. It's a 5-3 ball game. Eloy Jimenez just jumped ship into the goddamn cornfields.
Oh my God, my fantasy team's never been hotter right now.
So, I mean, this is cool. They just showed. By the way, I have so many different angles that I want to hit on just this game alone. By the way, go check out the YouTube channel, Starting Nine YouTube page. We just put up the Barstool Barn Burner video. Shout out to Bryn. She crushed it with that video. A lot of footage to go through, edit. It must have been a pain in the ass. It came out fucking awesome. We played on the Field of Dreams, Team Starting Nine versus Team Redline Radio. The game ended in a tie. Nothing else happened after that. We played 11 innings. Great video. And the first thing that I kind of want to get into, because we're in the middle, I don't think the end result of this baseball game matters. I think it's just pulling it off. Like, Kevin Costner is in the fucking booth right now with Joe Buck and Starting Nine alumni John Smoltz. This is what we're dealing with right now. So the first thing I want to say, have you been watching the entire time, or you've been running around?
I've been running around a little bit. Like I watched early. I watched the pageantry. I watched all that stuff, which is obviously cool.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to kind of. There's a couple things I wanted to hit on, because right now they're showing the field that we played on right now, which is the Field of Dreams movie site field. This field is obviously different. If you're standing on the Field of Dreams movie site at home plate, the field that this game between the White Sox and Yankees is being played on is just over yonder of left field. Are you ahead of me?
Oh.
Or are you behind me?
Luke Voigt.
Okay, yeah, you're behind me. All right, cool. So the first thing that I wanted to point out, the camera angles. Like, we need to do this, like, every regional broadcast needs to get on, like, pay attention to what's. Look at these fucking they've got drone cameras, and the Seattle Mariners, to my knowledge, are the only team that is using the fly cam, which I believe is Root Sports, and they've got that cam that kind of just looks like a drone camera that's flying around the third base line. When someone hits a homer, they're kind of like following the guy going from third base to home. Like, it's really cool. It looks like a drone, but it's not. But this broadcast on Fox, they've got cameras out the fucking ass everywhere, and they've got these awesome drone shots, which I know it makes more sense for a game like this when you want to show the cornfield, you want to show that the Field of Dreams movie site field is right there through the field of corn. But, I mean, this whole fucking thing, we're only in the fourth. It's an A+. Like, everyone wants to get on Major League Baseball for, like, oh, you're not cool enough, you're not appealing to the younger fans. Like, this is fucking great.
Based on where they were at and what it looked like when we were there just a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was, 2.5 weeks, I have no idea. But based on what it looked like then and what is happening right now, I thought there was no way they were going to be able to have people watching this ball game in whatever they were calling those things that look like stands.
Yeah.
But those worries, concerns gone out the window. The aesthetics of the old school scoreboard with the ladder rolling. You got folks hanging numbers. I mean, the whole thing, the backdrop, just go back and look at the images of what the backstop looks like as you're watching Lance Lynn, who looks like he probably planted said corn, shucked said corn, harvested said corn, and could mow pounds of said corn. Like, is there no better dude to have on the mound? I think Smoltz even might have said it, like, the dude who's just like, hey, here you go, country fastball, here's a fucking heater, let's let it ride through the cornfield.
It's awesome. It's perfect. If you could handpick, I mean, obviously, I would imagine that the Yankees would have preferred Andrew Heaney not be the starter for today's game. I mean, the dude just, no offense, is out there throwing BP in every start that he's made for the Yankees so far this year. But that's what the fans want to see, balls land in the fucking corn, do they not? So maybe Andrew Heaney's perfect for this game.
Well, I mean, you try to give the people what they want. And, you know, Aaron Boone, he's an entertainer. He understands.
He gets it.
Just so happens to be Heaney's turn. No, hey, straight up, though, it's an exciting thing. I'm really excited for these players because to be one of the guys who is playing the first ever game on this diamond in this state, first ever Major League Baseball game. That's really cool.
It's very cool. And I just threw a tweet out there right before we hopped on, and I said something to the effect of I wasn't quite sure. And this is a conversation that we were having when we were there in Iowa. I wasn't quite sure how some of the veteran guys were going to handle or react to having to go out into the middle of nowhere Iowa for one game. I mean, they have the off day tomorrow, and then they resume the series. I think it's Saturday, Sunday. But to have to go out there for one game, there's not a whole lot happening out there. It's just baseball land. And to see, I mean, they're buying in. Like, unless they're faking it, these guys seem pretty into it. And you have to love that because as a fan, it really only adds to the viewing experience. Like, you would hate to see like a bunch of guys that are just miserable being there and are like, what the fuck, or they're complaining about it. Like, haven't seen any of that.
Well, the movie, depending on, I guess, where it rests in your pantheon of baseball movies, I'm sure it has an impact on the willingness of guys to buy into this. But I think if you just let the kid inside of you take over, like these guys do each and every day, then you appreciate the magnitude of being the first group to do this. That's really cool. What I think is, I mean, I don't know how ironic it, like, come on, we're having the first Major League Baseball game ever played in Iowa under the premise of growing the game. And the reason it is getting the resounding reception it is because these people in Iowa are being stiff-armed around every corner when they try to watch Major League Baseball. They're blacked out of 6 different markets. So it's almost like you're throwing peanuts to a crowd who's starving for baseball. And it's like, we know you're getting hosed as far as being able to watch baseball, like, as much as you might want to. So here's a little novelty game. We'll give this one to you. You chew on that, enjoy it, and well, yeah, no, shit's going to stay the same. Nothing's changing. Like, just enjoy this game, though.
You got to figure they do this every year, no?
I mean, it's logistically, it's something that you obviously have to schedule and plan for.
Yeah.
But from there, it's about teams being willing to make the accommodations.
Ooh, you watching this right now? They got
there.
They got a drone that went in the fucking window and down into the house here where Carl had a mental breakdown in the kitchen. That was pretty cool.
It's very dope.
We didn't go upstairs. I didn't know that there was an upstairs.
So I will be spending a little vacation there with the family.
When?
Off season.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a huge hockey guy. Didn't the Winter Classic start out as this was only going to be like it was going to be on New Year's Day, but it was only going to belong to one team? Am I wrong?
I have no idea. Like one team, or played only between 2 teams every year, something like that.
I thought it was like one team's thing, or like it was only like an original 6 thing, or I don't know.
Yeah,
it was something
going to be
that
the Canadians or something.
Yeah, like I can't remember. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that are listening to this right now being like, "No, you fucking idiot! It was this." But I want to say when it very first started, it was like an exclusive to either one or a few teams or something.
It's funny.
That.
We were talking about that in the studio and how like they just had the outdoor game at Lake Tahoe, but like the ice was just a wreck because the sun hitting the ice obviously melts ice like no shit. Yeah. So they were dealing with that outdoors. Like it was cold enough, but you got to wait till the sun goes down so the sun is not melting your ice rink.
Correct.
It's probably tough. Like that shit'll turn into a water polo game real quick.
Would you want it to stay exclusive to the White Sox, or would you want any 2 teams to be able to do it?
Like simply because
the White Sox aren't always going to be interesting.
Well, not only that, but simply because Iowans have not been able to like enjoy baseball from around some of the markets that I'm sure they would be attached to. I feel like you got to be able to rotate some of these markets and be able to introduce baseball. And I feel so weird even having this conversation, talking about introducing baseball to a state in our country, like Major League Baseball, like the Major League Baseball experience. And like, man, oh, God. Oh, double. Lou Bob.
He's got the facial hair rocking. Looks
But yeah,
fresh as hell.
that's where I'm at. I think you got to rotate this, and if it is something that you can do later in the season, then I think that's probably something Major League Baseball is looking to do, because you now have what's called a flex impact schedule. So the major networks that carry these games, that have access to these game broadcasts, they can start to look at the schedule and see, all right, these two teams are playing, playoff implications, we're going here. And
Kind
you
of
make
like
that decision
a Sunday Night
in a
Baseball
week.
type deal.
What's that?
Kind of like a Sunday Night Baseball type deal.
Yes. Well, Sunday Night Baseball, yes, they can become, it becomes flex like around the end of August, September.
Yeah. I don't hate that idea. I mean, you definitely want like a good matchup. You want two teams that are in it. I mean, no offense, Dallas, no one would want to see like the Diamondbacks and Pirates in this game this year.
Whoa. Well,
this year.
I mean, maybe diehards. You just don't know. And if you're only selling 8,000 tickets, you're not going to have a problem getting people there.
No doubt. And I think over time we'll probably see this become more of a, like, this is the first year. I mean, a lot of people are, I mean, you can't have traditions year one, but I think over time we'll probably see it become more of a spectacle. I think it's a great idea. I love the fact that Kevin Costner came out for this. Not just came out for it, but he's a big part of it. Like, that's,
you're rolling him out there every year?
Sure, why not? Fuck it. I mean, if you're him, why wouldn't you?
Was he going out there
it.
every year?
I think he would.
I don't know about that.
The fuck else is he gonna do?
A whole lot of everything and anything but take, as Johnny Gomes put, two airplanes and a canoe
into the
ride.
corn. See you.
What happened?
You'll see in 30 seconds when your
there it is.
fucking shitty ass Stockton cable catches up.
Bam. No, I wasn't on the screen.
The Heen machine. He gives up 3 bombs just to stay in shape.
Man. 7-3. Not
Yeah.
ideal right now. But yeah, great idea. It was fun. It's
Still is fun. I'm
they're
having
enjoying
fun.
it. I just don't see I don't see high impact games being played here simply because of what it takes to get into the ballpark, to get to the ball. Because you got to remember, there's big league standards that have to be met in terms of accommodations for the team and staff. And I don't, maybe I'm crazy, I don't remember seeing a 5-star hotel in Dyersville, and I don't remember seeing a 5-star hotel in Dubuque. I could be way off.
You think these dudes are probably staying somewhere like fancy and then just like taking like fucking helicopters closer to the field?
They're like flying in day of game, and they're out after this.
Correct.
Yeah, they're not hanging around. That's my whole point. So.
I'm enjoying this game. I'm enjoying this game right now. I love baseball. I love the tradition. I love Kevin Costner coming out of the corn by himself to come out there, followed by both rosters coming through the cornfield together. It wasn't like, hey, one team over here or the other team over there. They came out of the corn together. You got Booney, the managers, Tony. He waved off the cart. He said, I'm going to walk it. They come out together, end up on the infield dirt. You got the old school.
How else would the manager of the year enter such a magnitudinal ball game?
I mean, if it were a dome, I could see him doing the Lady Gaga jump, the bungee cord from the roof. And
Tony don't need no fucking walker. He don't need no help.
No, he don't. And then you have the Lou Gehrig style microphone in the middle of the field where Kevin Costner delivers a hell of a speech to begin the festivities, and then just 2 It was funny because he said, he's like, we're all gathered here today to watch this game between the first place Chicago White Sox and the mighty New York Yankees.
Who said that? Buck?
Costner.
Oh.
Like on the field in front of both of them. He's like, the first place White Sox and the mighty New York Yankees.
Yep. They are. They're mighty. Hey, they're
mighty.
surging. They're coming.
They're there. You know. It's pretty good.
They're coming. They just need to pour themselves a New Amsterdam, Jared. Rest and relax and keep going.
Is that what they're going to do?
I believe that's what they're going to do. Maybe that's what you need to do. If it's not, that's what our folks listening need to do. Make sure to head to your local liquor store and pick up the new summer co-branded New Amsterdam vodka bottle. It's the new Navy bottle, baby. The same extra smooth 80-proof vodka now with custom Barstool labels. Made for some of the finest quality grains from America's heartland. New Amsterdam vodka is 5 times distilled for unparalleled smoothness and filtered 3 times for a clean, crisp finish. New Amsterdam vodka, the official vodka of Barstool Sports.
Shout out to Trent. Big day for Trent. Big day for Iowa. Big day for Corn. A lot of opposite field homers in this game.
Just get it in the air. Get it in the air.
Yeah.
Get it in the air and it'll
Get that
pop.
barrel out there. We got a lot to talk about baseball-wise. A lot of stuff happened since the last time we met on this particular program. We got to talk about the NL East. We got to talk about how, this was a surging Phillies team. They won 8 straight to pass the Mets, who fell back into third place. And then what I said, I was like, I don't know, a lot of talk about the Mets sliding, a lot of talk about the Phillies surging. What about the Bravos? No one's talking about them. Well, the Atlanta Braves, they lost today. I think, did they get fucking smoked? I don't know, but they're actually in third place right now. The Mets have picked themselves off the floor. The Pete Alonso rah-rah speech did not fall on deaf ears. They have won their last 2 games. Stroman today, very filthy. Very filthy. He was out there dealing, and I thought he was going to fucking die for a second.
Well, it's 1,000,000 degrees out there.
I know.
It's humid as fuck.
Get my guy
outside,
a damn Gatorade.
What's that?
Get my guy a damn Gatorade. Did you see this fucking play?
You don't need the Gatorade.
He literally fielded a ball in front of the mound, threw the runner out, and then he's just fucking keeled over behind the mound. Looks like he's going to throw up. And then he waves off the trainers and Rojas. Clearly he's dehydrated. I mean, like, if it's not an injury, he's fucking dying out there. The heat index was a motherfucker today. And then finally they run him out a beverage to quench his thirst. And then he goes on to throw a hell of a ball game.
Yeah, well,
Mets win.
That's what you do. Carrabis, you battle. He's a warrior. You fend it off. I remember a game in Texas. Well, multiple games in Texas. And that's a trick you learn. Getting half naked, leaning up against the fucking concrete to avoid baking out there like a damn strudel. We had outfielders sticking their feet in ice buckets, cleats and all. To hell with it. It's an absolute nightmare out there. Nightmare. Also reminds me of a time that a guy in the bullpen for us drank out of the ammonia bucket for like 3 straight innings and didn't realize he was drinking out of the ammonia bucket until...
How do you not realize that?
Because like every time he went and got water, there just wasn't anybody around the bucket like going to get a towel. So he, because you're often in different areas of the bullpen, you come in and he drank like for fucking 2.5, 3 full innings. Like every time he'd get water, he probably had like 4 cups of ammonia water and just proceeded to have the absolute worst diarrhea like known to man. Yeah.
That's how you cleanse, though.
Yeah, it was quite the scene. Quite the scene.
Quite the scene. The Mets swept a doubleheader today from the Nats, and there was an interesting little tidbit on the broadcast today where they were talking about having to explain to Juan Soto that we need you to hang in there. You know, like I feel like when Schwartz was healthy and he was doing what he was doing, turning into Barry Bonds there for a second, I feel like the Nats thought that they had a shot this year. I mean, the division was pretty wide open there for a little bit. I know the Mets held on to first place for a decent chunk there, but the teams were always looming, and the proof of that is that the Phillies and Braves have essentially held first place in the last week or so each. But I found it interesting that, you know, a kid like Juan Soto, I love that. I love that he's won a World Series as like a 20-year-old kid, and you've got to explain to him, hey, you know, like turnover happens, rebuilds happen, but you're part of the rebuild. Like, you know, we're gonna have to sell off some of these veterans here, but we'll be back.
Well,
we need you to hang in there.
It's part of the growth of the game. It's part of understanding where you fit in the hierarchy, and it's not ever really been a question of where he fits in the hierarchy, but that's part of the maturation process in this game, is learning that there's going to be times where you can put the cape on, you can try to carry your club for as long as, like, it's sometimes it's just not going to matter. It is quite literally not in the cards. And sometimes that's a tough pill to swallow, especially if you're a young guy that's already had the success that he has and is frankly on the trajectory that he is to be the kind of player that he's apparently destined to be, that we all hope he continues to become. So that's just not an easy pill to swallow for a dude who's showed up in the big leagues, going to grow up in the big leagues, and frankly has done otherworldly type shit.
Yeah. And he's still getting better.
Speaking of otherworldly type shit, how about Corbin Burns?
Ooh,
Burn through 10 straight cubbies. 10 straight punchies.
I don't want to hear anything from anyone trying to undermine how fucking awesome that was because of where the Cubs are at right now. Trying to say that, oh, it was a fucking minor league team that he did it against. There's been a lot of dog shit teams to play full seasons at the major league level, and this is tying a major league. Do you know how long the major leagues have been around for? 10 straight strikeouts to tie a major league fucking record. Corbin Burns, the same dude that went 8.5 years without walking a guy. Now he's striking out 10 straight. You kidding me?
Here's a tasty little nug about it, too. This is something to appreciate. And maybe it might not sound so sexy to you these days because of a lack of a two-strike approach. But each and every one of those 10 strikeouts in a row was on a swinging third strike. All right?
Yep.
There's guys today that fail to garner 10, 11 swing and misses an entire ball game, let alone 10 punch-outs in a row ending in 10 swing and misses. There was probably some swing and miss leading up to that final swing and miss as well, and that wasn't the only those weren't the only punch-outs he had. He had more than 10. So
Correct.
that's just, I mean, he is just punching holes in that fucking lineup, man. That was just ridiculous to watch. Ridiculous. Because it was, and that's the thing, is it's on everything. Here, Schwindel swinging on a slide piece. Duffy swinging on a curveball. Diekman swinging on a change piece. Bodie swinging on a slide piece. Romine, cutter. Arrieta, Cuervo, Ortega, cut piece. Contreras, cut piece. Happ, cutter. Schwindel, slide piece. Just spin doctoring folks to death.
Do you give him any chance to, I mean, I think it's unfair to say enter the Cy Young conversation. He's in the Cy Young conversation for sure. Do you give him any chance to win it, or is he too far behind innings-wise because of the injury earlier a few months back?
Yeah, I mean, because how many innings does he
I will
have
say
now?
this. He's 35 innings shy of what Zach Wheeler is at. And, again, this is not the end-all, be-all.
He's qualified, right?
Definitely. He's made 20 starts. Wheeler's made 23 starts. So he's 35 innings shy of where Zach Wheeler is at, which is even more of a tip of the cap to him because he has the exact same wins above replacement as Zach Wheeler. They're both 5.6.
Well, and I would say that's where you really, again, like, where I go with this award is the dominance factor. That's where
Sure. So then let's look at the dominance factor.
Well, that's where, yeah. I mean, I would
the
say
strikeouts per 9, Corbin Burns,
Mhm.
12.79 compared to 10.44. The walks per 9,
lower.
obviously that's Corbin Burns. The ERA, Corbin Burns ever so slightly. It's 2.23 to 2.42. The expected ERA, and I know that, like, the expected stuff, not every baseball fan is into that. But the expected ERA for Corbin Burns is 1.76. So he's actually been better than his numbers would suggest. And Zach Wheeler is 2.63, so he's actually been a slight nod.
But he's got a better whip. He's got a better batting average against. He's got a better K to walk.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's actually, I've never seen this before. Zach Wheeler's ERA and FIP are the exact same. I've never seen that before.
No?
No.
It's not. I mean, it's cool. It's not that weird, I don't think. I mean,
I've never seen it. Have you ever seen it?
Super ultra rare. I mean, because it'll change.
Oh, it'll change, but as of right now.
Yeah. It's fun to land on. It's a fun landing spot. So, yeah, he's absolutely, I mean, yes.
It's a lot closer than I thought before I started looking at the numbers just now.
Yeah. Something that does absolutely, I don't think it needs to be addressed at this point. It's just something that folks need to really start to, like, don't fight it, don't dig your heels in against it, just embrace it, let it be what it is. Cody Bellinger right now is, I mean, he walked in to the starting 9 rub and tug and walked out of there the happiest man. He walked out of there with a Kraft smile on his face.
He did.
Cody Bellinger has not stopped blasting baseballs since he rolled with your boys.
So the Dodgers didn't play 2 today, right? That was just a regular ass game. He almost I had the game on, but I didn't have the sound on. There were a couple balls that he hit that looked like they were gone, but coming into play today on Thursday, he had homered 4 times in 4 games since getting the starting 9 rub. I mean, how many fucking examples do you need?
Well, and it is the best part too. Like, this is right after they put Mookie on the DL or IL, excuse me. So you just automatically, anytime a guy like that goes down, I think throughout the clubhouse, there's a sense of, got to step it up. Got to do a little more today. And to go out and bang 2 2-run jacks, like quite literally just hours after your boy gets shelved, yeah, that's fucking sexual.
I mean, you got to look at the body of work here. It's been, I think, you know what we have to do? Maybe we can get Dr. Claw on this, is come up with some sort of PowerPoint presentation or some sort of video where it's like player X came on, this happened. Player Y came on, this happened. There's got to be a long list of data to support the starting 9 rub exists.
Yeah, I would think so. That's something. See, like, well, tell you, Jared, if I had an intern, that would be what they would be doing. Shit like that.
Well,
shit like that.
You need a smart intern.
What's that? No, you just need a baseball fan. That's it. Baseball fan. Track
you know
games.
What? I don't know where that Twitter account went, but there was a Twitter account called like Starting 9 Data, and they were firing off some fucking awesome tweets that were kind of like what we're talking about right here.
Maybe school started or something.
Maybe, but Starting 9 Data, if you're listening, oh no, Eloy,
again?
Oh no, fucking State Trooper Gardner made the catch. He thought he got it though. He was pimping it out the box. Yeah, Starting 9 Data. If you're listening, that's a project for you.
Yeah, something to earn some stripes with.
Yeah.
Speaking of stripes,
This is right up your alley.
This, well, I guess we could go one of 2 ways here with that.
Did you keep it in your pants or no?
What's that?
Did you keep it in your pants for this?
For Wayno?
Yeah.
I mean, bud. Come on. How old is Adam Wainwright? 72 years old? Adam
He's
Wainwright.
like 73 next year.
72-year-old Adam Wainwright is out here absolutely carving my Pittsburgh Pirates. It was not, I mean.
I thought you were about to say St. Louis Cardinals, and I was about to fucking smack you.
No.
It
was tough to watch. It was tough to watch the old dog just run circles around the pups. Because that's what it was. It was the old dog just leaving the pups, panting on the porch, going, you had no idea this old junkyard dog still had it in him, did you? Oh, did you?
He's about to be 40.
Maddox? A Maddox? Wayno, 2-hit CG shut piece, 88 pitches for your Bush.
He turns 40. He turns 40 3 weeks from Monday. 3 weeks from Monday, this dude turns 40, and he threw his first complete game shutout since 2016 and became the oldest pitcher to throw a shutout on 88 pitches or fewer since pitches have been counted.
I mean, dude, it's the first Maddox, and again, for the folks who might not know, a Maddox is a complete game shutout, or excuse me, complete game thrown in under 100 pitches. And that's just, it's not easy to do. Not by any stretch.
No.
And this is the first Maddox by a Cardinal since Chris Carpenter back in September 2011. He did it on 97 pitches. It's the second fewest pitches, like you said, since they began tracking pitches in 1988.
Which I did a double take at. There's no way we just started tracking pitches in 1988.
Yeah, sure. Like I would like pitch counting, like something that they're logging for data. That's how antiquated this game is, Jared. People think that like it's been up to speed, and no, man. Like that's why we talk. That's why we laugh about some of the rules that are still in place. That's why the idea of having unwritten rules is still kind of funny, because you know the idea that the way people would go about their business, while it's not logged anywhere, actually impacts the way guys play the game. Are you shitting me? That's still very real and prevalent. He's the second oldest pitcher behind Jamie Moyer.
I mean, when did Jamie Moyer retire? Was he like 45?
Yeah, Jamie Moyer might have been 59 years old at retirement. Jamie Moyer's
oh my God. Jamie Moyer's final major league season was for the Colorado Rockies in 2012. Did not even fucking know that he pitched for the Rockies. I remember him last with the Phillies, which was his second to last season. How old was Jamie Moyer in his final major league season?
46.
49.
49. Damn.
Motherfucker was almost 50. Nobody in Major League Baseball history gave up more homers than Jamie Moyer. 522 homers, which is right around the same number that Miguel Cabrera is at in his career. He just hit number 499. And say what you want about this move. I know plenty of guys have hit 500 on the road. It is what it is. Some guys just want to get it over with and have as many at-bats as they can, because you never know. But the Detroit Tigers sat Miguel Cabrera on Sunday after he hit 499 on Saturday so that he could... Oh, wait. No. What fucking day is today? He hit 499 on Tuesday. What fucking day is it? They sat it. He hit 499 in the middle game, and then they sat him for the last game so that they could come back to Detroit so that he could hopefully Brett Gardner into the corn.
Nothing wrong with it. Just like when they wanted Ricky they wanted Ricky to break the record at home.
Yep. I really struggle with days sometimes.
No problem with this being a milestone, because it is, obviously. It's a massive milestone moment for a guy who, I mean, we talked about this, didn't we? Like Miggy going in a Marlin, Miggy going in a Tiger.
I don't know that there's even really a case at this point to be a Marlin.
So obviously, if you got the ability to manipulate this, I mean, because look, for the organization, someone's going to get that ball. That's going to be a great moment. A fan there, the merchandise, you're going to be slanging like you want it all to be Detroit centric. So makes total sense. Makes
Just
total
if you're listening at home and you don't want to research it yourself.
What?
Miguel Cabrera played 14 years for the Tigers and just 5 for the Marlins. He won his Triple Crown with the Tigers. He won 2 back-to-back MVPs with the Tigers.
Yeah.
But then he won that World Series as a 20-year-old rookie.
Yeah, cool moment, but nothing that's going to cement him with a fucking fish on his forehead in Cooperstown.
I would agree. It's going to be a great moment. And actually, I was looking at it when I was at Fenway the other night, Tuesday night. Tampa was in town. We don't have to talk about that series. But
ooh, that's tough tickets.
Yeah, I said we don't have to talk about that series is what I said. Nelson Cruz is on the Rays now. And I think after Miggy, Nelson Cruz would be next up for 500. And then after that, we're going to be waiting for a while. So enjoy 500 for Miggy because I think we're going to be waiting a little bit.
Maybe it starts to become sexy again. Maybe it starts to become attractive again.
Yeah, we did kind of get away from that.
Well, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You got Miguel Cabrera is at $4.99. And then you've got Nelson Cruz at $4.40. And then after that,
what, Shohei Ohtani?
For active players? Holy shit. Let's see. After Nelson Cruz at $4.40. Oh, man. And this guy's got no shot, so I'll just... Oh, okay.
What do you think?
The next guy is technically still active, and he has no fucking chance at hitting 500.
Is he? What do you mean technically? Like the retirement papers haven't been signed yet?
No, he's employed by a team, I guess. But he's not. You wouldn't think of him when you think of the team that he's employed by. Out of sight, out of mind.
I have no idea.
Robinson Cano.
Oh, yeah, no.
And then in Robinson Cano, 334, so not even fucking close. And then after that is Giancarlo Stanton, 329.
Ooh.
Then Justin Upton, no chance. Joey Votto, he's 37, no chance. Evan Longoria, love him, no chance.
So is Trout the next realistic? Like,
yep, he's 310.
Yep,
and he's 29.
Yeah. Mike Trout, let's go, Mike. Hey, you know what? Then maybe motherfuckers will start to appreciate Mike Trout. Maybe then.
You think if he hits 500, people will appreciate him?
No, I honestly don't. Because I think it's gonna be weird, dude. It's gonna be weird for Mike Trout. At the end of it all, I think people are gonna be like, "Fuck, I wish I would have seen him play more." I feel like people are gonna think that. Like you just haven't been able to lean into consuming all of Mike Trout's greatness because of the West Coast bias. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be that weird vibe around him. And I know Angels fans are just like, they already hate me. And that's fine.
Angels fans?
Yeah, they're not big fans of me saying that we got to get Shohei Ohtani out of Anaheim. But trust me, there's a lot of sensible Angels fans that were like, yo, I mean, you're fucking spot on based on what the organization has done and how the ownership has kind of handled stuff. Yeah, like Mike Trout's clearly been wasted. You would hate to see Shohei Ohtani get wasted as well. You're not off in that assessment or in not wanting that to be the case.
Yeah.
And then other people were like, we're coming. We're going to the playoffs. And we got pitching coming. Like, look, I get it. You got money coming off the books. You're going to be able to make some moves. My whole point was that was kind of the situation a little while ago. and you signed up a guy who's just had surgery and is not going to be playing for you for the remainder of this season. And that's not a knock on him at all. That's me just telling you, wasn't that an opportunity to maybe go get a guy on the bump? Like, we've had this conversation already. We don't need to rehash that. So I just hope it doesn't get wasted.
Yeah. That's why I kind of threw that out there and said, does he even want to be saved? Because he was very particular about geographically, where am I going to end up, and very particular about it. So,
well, remember, that's why I threw out the whole, hey, let's just wait and see if Shohei's not just waiting in the weeds and just going to ball out of control and at the end of it turn heel and go, I did all of this. I did all of this next to your supposed best player in the game. Pay me my money. Give me $1 billion, motherfuckers, because there's nobody else doing what I do.
Yeah, he'd be worth it. I mean,
I legitimately think to myself, like, what if you got Shohei Ohtani? How old is Ohtani right now? 26? 20, I was going to say 26.
He is 27. He turned 27 on July 5th.
Like, what if this dude would have burst onto the scene in this fashion 3 years ago? Maybe even let me just get a little greedy and say 4 years ago. So a 22-year-old kid dialing up a season similar to this. Let's say he has the kind of same season that I talked about, a 25 to 30 homer season with a 3.5 ERA, with 120 innings, 130 innings from a 22-year-old guy. Like, he puts that up in the big leagues. You mean to tell me like he doesn't have a legitimate argument to be a $50 million, $60 million a year player? $70 million a year player?
Dallas,
I mean,
the going rate for the reigning Cy Young Award winner is $45 million.
Yes.
And then add in the fact that this dude could be the major league home run leader that also can hit for average and get on base.
Will be.
What are we talking? Are we talking 80? 80? Like, how do you accurately?
And I just want it to be known we're 5 years, about maybe even 3 to 4 years removed from me feeling like I was crazy for throwing out a $50 million a year player.
I don't think it was that you were crazy. It was more just we didn't think it could possibly be anytime soon. It was eventually it would have been like I'd like to go back and listen to that conversation. I feel like it was more like, yeah, we could probably see that in like 10, 15, and then ended up being like fucking 2 years.
Yeah, and now here we are, like Shohei Ohtani, easily first $1 billion player, no doubt. Book it.
But
I'm spending Artie's money.
That's if he were a free agent at the end of the year, which he won't be. So
yeah, no, he even as a 28-year-old, he's not getting $1 billion. Come on.
I don't even think he'll be fucking 28 when he's up.
27, whatever.
He's 27 now.
Yeah, when's he up? 2 years?
Well, he's basically like he didn't. If it was 18, 19, 20. So what is this? Like his first year of ARB? So he's probably got like 3 years of ARB after that?
Yeah. So after 22?
I'll tell you right now. So Shohei Ohtani is... It's insane how he structured his
actually,
deal.
he doesn't hit arbitration until 2023.
Wait a second. No, that's not true. He's got CAA.
Oh, yeah, he's free agent 2024.
Yeah, so this was his second year. Next year is his second year of ARB, but he's locked in at 5.5. So he bought out ARB years. So he gets 3 this year, 5.5 next year, and then 23 is his third year of ARB, and then he's a free agent after 23.
So he's going to hit arbitration. He's going to make, bro.
He might make fucking like what did
Dude. So Shohei Ohtani, like this is going to be so if 2023 is unspoken for, that arbitration case is going to be historical.
right. Because who has the record for third-year ARB? Is it Chris Bryant or Mookie? It's one of the. I think it was either Nolan, Mookie, or Chris Bryant. It might have all been the same year, and then they all broke each other's records.
Well, this is what's going to get interesting about that. Now that you start thinking about it, is how are the Angels going to handle him in 2022, leading in to 2023? Determining how much, because that's where that's your pre-platform year, and then your platform year, your final year of arbitration, heading into free agency.
I think Mookie set the record for third-year arbitration with $27 million.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, Shohei Ohtani might make $50 million in arbitration. Could you imagine him taking $50 million?
I don't know that he'd get 50 in ARB, but I think
but
he could probably get
40
north of 35. I was gonna say, it's somewhere in between 35 and 40 in that third year. How
because
could
what
he?
is that? That's about like. And are you just thinking that's a $10 to $12 million performance on the mound, and then comparing that to what those two guys you just spoke of did offensively?
Yep.
And I mean, come on, man. We're talking about the dude who's going to lead Major League Baseball in home runs.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. If he does this the next 2 years, I think it's a slam dunk that he gets north of 35 in. I mean, because it's not even really doing it for 2 years. It's doing it for a year and a half.
You have the balls.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the fucking balls
Mm-hmm.
on you right now
Mm-hmm.
to say Shohei Ohtani gets $40 million in arbitration in 2023? Do you have the fucking balls on you?
I think because there's no precedent, like arbitration is big with like, well, this guy did this, so and you paid him this, and this guy did that, and you guys decided on this figure. No one has ever done what Shohei's done, so I think he kind of fucked himself by not actually going through ARB in 21 and 22. Because if he was going into his second year of arbitration this winter, and then he got whatever that figure was going to be, and then had the same type of season next year, then I would say yes, that third and final year of arbitration that he could get 40. But because his second year of ARB is already locked in at 5.5, it's going to be pretty hard to get to 40 from there.
I mean, hey, we got to play it out.
Yeah.
We got to play it out.
I mean, if they're actually going to, if there's some sort of equation that takes statistics and boils it down to dollars, then yes. But I think arbitration is just too much built on past precedent and benchmarks and your own arbitration cases where guys get raises. But, I mean, have we ever seen someone in arbitration go from 5.5 to 40? I don't know. I would imagine that's about as unprecedented as it gets in professional sports.
Yeah, it's a hell of an upgrade. It's a hell of an upgrade. Kind of probably feels that way though if you're Adley Rutschman. I mean, he got breaded up in the draft. He's not too worried about making cheddar in the minor leagues. That's all a done deal. But he gets to AAA. I know our man RDT very excited about the idea that Rutschman is now knocking on the door. We see him in September. I say we see him in September.
How do you not, right?
I say we see him in September. This is where I don't know how much of the what are they letting 2 guys, 3 guys up now in the big leagues, 4 guys up, whatever the hell it is.
What draft class was he? Was he 18?
I believe 18. Might have been 19.
19.
Yeah. So
yes.
he gets plucked out of Bowie. 271, 392, 508 slash, 18 pumps, 55 steaks, 55 walks, 57 strikeouts. That's of note. 55 walks, 57 strikeouts in 80 games.
Do you love to see that?
Sure do.
Yeah. I don't hate that. I mean, it's time. I mean, you got to give Orioles fans something. It's been all downhill since they traded Manny Machado at the 2018 deadline. I don't even know if this made the rundown. Do we have fucking Chris Davis on here?
No, Chris Davis not on here. Shout out Chris Davis, retired, off into the sunset. I'm looking forward to the RDT blog. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Tip of the cap to the Orioles. They're going to pay him.
They are going to pay him.
They're going to pay him. They're going to pay him.
Yeah.
They're going to break it up. They're going to divvy it out.
From old Bob Nightingale had that today.
It's going to be extended. You know, he's not going to put the Orioles up against it. Going to allow him to get a little flexible with it. Figured we can all just agree to turn in our badge and call it a day.
It was time.
Well, look, the injuries, man.
It's been time.
The injuries hurt, and after a certain point in time, like sometimes the mental scars don't heal. Sometimes and that becomes tough to go and do your job, knowing that I'm only going to feel a certain way physically and mentally. That takes a toll. Not in a position to go and be the same guy I was. You can't be the same dude you think you could be when you're producing in the clubhouse as far as atmosphere and chemistry goes. So it's not been an easy go, and I hope that everybody just kind of is able to part ways with a smile.
Yeah. I mean, it obviously sucks how it ended, and I think what's probably worse, not that this is, I mean, he's one of those guys that I think is just going to ride off into the sunset and just get a fucking log cabin somewhere and chill. But he's going to be the example that gets brought up all the time about why big money contracts for dudes around that age are just a terrible idea. He'll be that example. Even Albert Pujols will be that example. There's a lot of them that never panned out, but I would say, well, let me ask you. Besides Josh Hamilton, is this the worst $100 million contract, $100 million plus contract in baseball history?
Quite possibly.
I mean, the Hamilton one is definitely.
What about? Hold on. Let me look this up before I get crazy and say this. But I've got a name on my brain that I just want to make sure I'm not.
Well, say it.
No.
Say it, pussy.
Are
you checking to see if it was $100 million or if they were bad?
If they were bad, well, but I mean, I know like
Pablo. It was 95.
No. What'd you say?
It was 95. Didn't quite make the cut.
No. I was thinking Kevin Brown.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, he got Cy Young votes.
Yeah, and he was like a playoff starter.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It was like, was he the first $100 million deal?
That's it. First $100 million guy.
Yeah.
That's what, like, yeah. It was just interesting because I've talked to Boris like at length about that negotiation, and just very interesting, very, very interesting. But
yep.
Yeah, so no, I'd say KB not a disappointment or big massive no.
Let's see. What were the worst? Homer Bailey was bad. Homer Bailey, 6 years, 105. Bad. Kevin Brown was 7 years for 105. Miguel Cabrera, 8 years for 248. That was the second one, not the first one. Yoenis Cespedes shouldn't be on this list. Carl Crawford was fucking abysmal. 7 years, 142. That should 1,000% be in the conversation. Chris Davis, 7 years, 161. Oh, duh. How could I forget? Jacoby Ellsbury, 7 years, 153.
Oh, your guy.
Another terrible one which is unfortunate because I love him. I actually liked Ellsbury a lot too, but you go to the Yankees, I lose feelings.
They still got Jacoby on milk cartons.
Yeah, I told you I just ran into him the other day. We had a conversation. Very nice guy. You could tell. You know what hurt me is you could tell he knew every bad thing I ever said. You could see it in his eyes.
Well, did he know that you changed your dog's name?
I showed him my tattoo. I was like, this is gonna be weird, but I actually have your name tattooed on my arm for my dog. He was super cool about it. I would love to interview Jacoby Ellsbury someday. I don't think I ever said anything like mean about him. I've always been nice about like him and his personality and all that. It was more just like that. There's no other way to chop it up. Like that contract was one of the worst, if not the worst, in baseball history. This one we forgot. This is a big one. Prince Fielder, 9 years, $214.
Yeah, but the neck injury. I mean, come on.
But it still counts. Josh
I
Hamilton,
agree.
5 for
That's why we're talking
125.
about Chris Davis the same way. I mean,
Ooh, Cubs fans are screaming at their podcast players right now. They're like, "Hey, Jason Hayward, 8 years, 184." That one was bad. And then the Pujols, 10 years, 240. Yeah. Well, it is what it – oh, I forgot about this one. Vernon Wells, 7 years, 126. Bad. Jordan Zimmerman, 5 years, 110. Some bad ones. All right. I'm going to talk to you about BetterHelp real quick. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Life is full of stressors. It doesn't matter who you are, what you have. Your life is probably stressful. I know my life is stressful. You got a lot of shit to do. Got a lot on my mind. You got to vent. Got to get it out somehow. You may not be feeling down and out or depressed or like you're at a total loss, but if your stress is high, your temper is shorter than usual, or even if you're starting to feel strain of any of your relationships, you could probably use the chance to unload the stress and get it out. Talk to someone who's completely unbiased about your life, someone who isn't going to judge you or take sides on anything. When there are things that you can't tell anyone or feel like you can't unload to family and friends, you need to unload it, and that's what therapy can be for you. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Super convenient. Unload the stressors and get some unbiased feedback. You'd be pretty surprised at what you might gain from it. See if it's for you. Starting 9 is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/starting. That is BETTERHELP.com/starting. Now, a bunch of the members of the grounds crew, they reached out, and they've been using BetterHelp, which is awesome. We appreciate that you guys are doing your best for yourself.
Very
much.
much
Happy
so.
Grounds crew is a happy starting 9.
A healthy grounds crew is a happy grounds crew.
Yep. You can play a little pepper before we get out of here. Mookie Betts back to the IL. Hip. Is this concerning for you at all? Like, it's year 1 of a $365 million contract, and he's got hip issues?
Well, I mean, for fuck's sake, Jared, it's not like he's a Labrador with dysplasia, okay? It's not like he's a happy, healthy pup just vibrant, and you're like, sorry, got to take him out back.
Hip issues are not to be fucked with.
No, not at all. Trust me, we got a man playing the hot corner for the Oakland Athletics who just had his hip done. I played with a guy by the name of Justin Dukeshire who had his hips done. And while it didn't work out for Duke, Matt Chapman seems to be rebounding decently physically, so he's making ridiculous plays still. But yeah, I mean, it's not what you like to see ideally for a guy in year 1, because it does kind of give you the sense like, oh, maybe lower half. I don't want to see this continuing, but I feel like they're gonna do what they need to do to take care of Mookie Betts. This is not really a concern for me down the road.
Yeah, it is a concern for me.
Yeah, it sucks. That's all right. What does suck? Carlos Rodon. This sucks because he was slated, I believe, to start the game in Iowa at the Field of Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal. You're excited about that. Unfortunately, not happening. Obviously, Lance Lynn toeing the slab for the Pale Hose. But, I mean, Rodon, you worried about this and what it does to him in the potential Cy Young conversation?
I think at this point, when guys miss starts, especially because the voters are looking at what you're doing down the stretch. I mean, you can miss starts in April, May, June, and kind of rebound. But when you're missing starts at the end, that's kind of when the voters fuck you for that, which I never really like. The MVP, sure. If you miss the month of September, kind of hard to give a guy the MVP. We saw Yelly get fucked out of back-to-back MVPs in 2018 and 19 because of the knee injury, when really he was still deserving of the MVP even though he missed the last 3 weeks. But when you miss games down the stretch, that's kind of they hold those later games against you more so than the earlier games. So I hope it doesn't affect too much, but I kind of know that it will.
Yeah. Hang with them.
Hey, you.
Hang with them.
And
Don't like it.
then we got Josh Reddick.
Yeah,
with the
do
Mets.
anything for you?
No, I did have my first cigarette with Josh Reddick though.
Nice.
Yeah, we were outside a hotel in Houston in 2011, was it? Yeah, 2011. And I bet you if you search my old tweets, I tweeted something like breaking news: Josh Reddick is in the lineup tomorrow, and it was because we were smoking heaters outside the hotel together.
Yeah, he used to rip heaters in the batting tunnel. He used to rip heaters in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All over the place.
Yeah. You don't see that so much anymore. Professional athletes that smoke cigarettes.
Yeah,
Like the only guys that I know, couple Oakland A's, fucking Josh Reddick and Yoenis Cespedes. No one rips heaters like yo.
Oh yeah. All right, we've got a few series to pay attention to. Reds at Phillies. I know the Reds are nipping. Dodgers Mets. Dodgers, I can address the fact that it does not look like the San Francisco Giants are going to relinquish first place by August 15th.
Sure won't.
Not going to be a thing.
By the way, shout out to Alek Manoah. I want to say he punched out 11 the other night. He was an absolute beast. Did not want to come out of the game. Was furious that he couldn't finish 7. George Springer has been a fucking monster since he's come back. Had the 2-homer game. They've got Seattle coming up this weekend, which if you've ever seen a Blue Jays Mariners game in Seattle, Blue Jays fans fucking represent. Although I'm not sure if that's going to be affected by all the people in Toronto being able to travel to Seattle because of all the restrictions in Canada. We still have our fucking first base coach and our bench coach. Our first base coach and our bench coach are prisoners in Canada because the Will Venable, the Red Sox bench coach, tested positive for COVID in Toronto. So that's automatic 2 weeks. He can't leave. And then they did contact tracing to Goody, the first base coach, and he didn't even get it, and he's still stuck in fucking Canada. So I would imagine, I don't know if the Blue Jays takeover is going to be quite the same in Seattle, but that's always cool when it does happen.
That's no fun. That's
no. I feel so bad.
Fun. Yeah, Toronto and Seattle, they are both on the heels of the New York Yankees, who are all three breathing down the neck of the sliding second wild card Boston Red Sox. That's all we got. We go.